what's up, and welcome back to the channel for yet another FC Finch review, and it is Eaglemoss Day, and we're digging back into the collection again. We're going to take a look at issue number 120 from the official Starships collection, the U.S.S. Bozeman, and it is a Soyuz class starship, even though it is heavily based on the Miranda class frame, but nevertheless, we'll get into that, we'll talk about it. And for those who don't know who this ship is, or most of you should, because this one was a very popular episode of TNG. I think it's overall an okay episode, but it is from the episode Cause and Effect. I believe it has the guy that was in Frasier as the captain, where the Enterprise encounters the Bozeman from long ago, trapped in this rift, and it ends up destroying the Enterprise 20 times over until they figure out, hey, how do we get past this thing and dodge it? So nevertheless, we're going to be taking a look at this ship today, and of course, we start every review by looking at the magazine first, so let's get right to it. And we got the Bozeman moved out of the way so we could take a look at the magazine. There we have a nice shot of the Bozeman. I never get tired of looking at Miranda class based ships. Looks really, really good. Definitely got that nice 3D rendering. It is the U.S.S. Bozeman NCC 1941. It is a Soyuz class in the 23rd century, launched with a length of 243 meters. I can't talk today, and a max speed of warp 9.2. Those are 2300 century numbers. It is the U.S.S. Bozeman on the table of contents, creating the ship, the next generation, 5th season, and on screen then of course we have our stand instructions, and then of course we have a nice frontal shot of the Soyuz class. It is a Soyuz class from the 23rd century, 243 meters long, 200 crew with a warp 9.2 speed, phaser emitters and photon torpedoes, and Captain Morgan Bateson, or the guy from Frasier. But anyway, then we got another nice rendering of the Bozeman on there, and U.S.S. Bozeman. We've already had the ID number. Then we, of course, have a nice shot from the episode where it comes out of the rift, just out of nowhere, charging towards the Enterprise. There we have a nice underbelly shot of the Bozeman. Really cool to kind of get these up-close shots, so you only see it in clips. And then, of course, this is as it's about to hit the nacelle from the Enterprise D and destroy the Enterprise, which it did 20 different times in the episode. And, of course, one of my favorite parts, we have the orthographic views right here. Hey, it's the guy from Frasier. And just looks awesome. Again, I always love how Eaglemoss does these, especially for ships that we just don't see, even though it is Miranda based, and yeah, they have it over and over. And then we have some shots of the Miranda, or in Saratoga form, and then of course we have the sketches of what the Bozeman would look like. So there we go for that. And then, of course, another shot from the episode Cause and Effect. And moving on, looks like we have some other shots. This is likely from the 5th season of Star Trek. I don't know off the top of my head. Looks like it to me. And moving on, we have yet more Star Trek shots. Ooh, good episode right here. The First Duty. I really love this episode. And then, of course, we have this episode. And then, of course, back to Cause and Effect. And that is it for the magazine. There we have a nice upper orthographic shot of the Bozeman. And of course, we have our typical stand instructions. It's just like every other stand. You have the post right here. You have this little stand. This is one I haven't glued together, and it goes in rather firmly. Gonna have to struggle to get it out. And then, of course, we take the ship. It plugs in like every other Miranda class. In fact, I'm pretty sure they reuse the exact same stand because there's like 20 of these things. And there you go for the U.S.S. Bozeman in the stand. It's kind of got an upper view. It's like flying off to outer space. And let's jump into the Bozeman, and we'll put the stand off to the side. And of course, it's basically a Miranda class with a few more junks added to it. Again, it's kind of looking like it's pulled a little gun trailer here. Definitely a more battle variant of the ship. It's got phaser cannons on the sides, it's got cannons on the bottom, cannons back here, cannons back here, cannons back here. Come at me, Borg! And then of course we have U.S.S. Bozeman NCC 1941. Again, the lovely, nice Aztecing on here. Lots of detail. I mean, again, it's if you're going to reuse a frame, might as well reuse the Miranda class, which just has tons of detail, and very similar details to the Saratoga. We haven't looked at the Reliant yet, but again, you got the nice Federation symbols. I love that. Little phaser arrays, got some little molded detail right back here. Then of course you have these blue pins right here, the bridge detail with a nice little circle on top. Nice molded detail towards the back of the ship, leading towards the docking bay. And you even got, look at that, you got 2 and 1 for the shuttle bays. U.S.S. Bozeman on the bottom, NCC 1941. Love that. Oh, there's a 3rd shuttle bay. I didn't know that. Maybe if I looked at the magazine harder. Nice paint for the nacelles. I really like that they used a blue for here. It looks really, really good. And of course, you got the Federation pennant. Again, these are the TMP style nacelles, so I love the fact that they used the paint real quick here, since there's not really a space to use transparent plastic, since they just don't have that kind of vibe for them. And you got some nice lighting detail right back here. It's kind of overshadowed in a nice gray. It looks really good, kind of differentiates the color just a bit. And moving on to the bottom end, you get our cannons right here. And then, of course, you have this nice molded area where the warp core would be. Nice little blue aura for the warp core. Looks good. And they got these like little spines coming off here. Looks really, really good. Again, a lot more Aztecing detail on the bottom. Got your little details for your, what these might be your RCS thrusters or whatnot. The RCS thrusters right here as well. Looking good on the side of the sauce. You have United Federation planets, Starship U.S.S. Bozeman. That looks really good. And then you got some nice window detail right along the front. It's kind of cast in a light gray yet again to give you a hint on that extra detail. Again, more U.S.S. Bozeman. And yeah, no, overall it just looks really, really good. And if we check our nacelle alignment, it looks on point. I mean, by now Eaglemoss had Miranda classes down to a science. So yeah, very good and a very good looking model. And for a quick comparison, we'll bring in its base sister, the U.S.S. Reliant model, and we can just see how that works out, what they've changed and whatnot, just the difference in the profiles. And again, always cool to see. Actually, they look pretty well similar, just you know, with the gun gantries and whatnot. And you can kind of get a look at them from the side. So there we go. We can see the Reliant did use transparent plastic, so we see the differences there. Get a look at them from the back. We can see the loads more of junk that Bozeman has on it. And then, of course, let's bring in the other sister ship. Let's bring in the Saratoga, which is significantly less decoed out. Again, we can see how that looks on there, and you can see pretty much the nacelles from the Saratoga have been reused. It's nice to notice that the difference in saucer details, though. The Saratoga has windows on there, and the Bozeman has the text on there. And then, of course, from the side, we can see that the Bozeman has a bit more guns than the Saratoga, but nevertheless, still looking real cool. Saratoga's shuttle bay details are a lot more distinct. You can tell that it's actually numbered, whereas it's a light white on the Bozeman. So there you go for a quick comparison. So let's summarize, and there we have it for the Eaglemoss official Starships collection, U.S.S. Bozeman, the Soyuz class ship from the Cause and Effect episode with Frasier as your captain, or the guy from Frasier. Nevertheless, yeah, overall a really cool model. You know, well, like every other Miranda class model from Eaglemoss, got some nice weight, has a nice feel to it, loads of good detail, looks very colorful. All the add-ons are correct. It looks really, really good. I mean, it's a Miranda variant. So what do you want? And Eaglemoss really did have this ship down to the science. They did all 5 variants that you see, and this was certainly one of the less rare ones, but nevertheless, still a really good model and worth it to add to your collection, especially if you like those obscure ships that only appeared in one episode, and especially if you like the Miranda class or just underswept nacelle designed ships. And that being said, I did get the ship when Eaglemoss was open, but I'll put a link to master replicas in the description down below. I'll also put a link in the description to realmerch.com down below. Those are 2 great places to buy Eaglemoss ships without paying any absurd markups. And that being said, that is going to conclude this review. So if you found this review fun and helpful, consider hitting that like button down below. A lot of stuff is down below. And also consider subscribing to my channel. I do Eaglemoss 1 to 3 times a week, and that is going to be ramping up to the maximum as the winter months come. It already is. Thank you so much to those of you who already are subscribed. And that being said, I have been FC Finch. Thank you so much for watching. Live long and prosper. But I still don't know what to do with all that tossed salad and scrambled eggs.